On the other hand, some argue that AEC blueprint has created more competition rather than compromise by giving the following reasons. The first argument is that single market and production base induce competition among members. By adopting the first pillar, trade costs vary across ASEAN member states due to uneven infrastructure. In addition, this pillar also established barriers on trade, investment, and factor flows beyond border.
The second argument contends that the competitive economic region was actually meant to be compromised, but in fact, it is competitive. Countries without competitive laws could be affected due to the restrictive business practice of dominant domestic firms located in a country with competitive laws, such as limit pricing and predatory pricing. While countries with weaker policy are faced with higher compliance costs compared to a domestic firm in a country with stronger competition law.
As a result, the welfare of consumers in ASEAN member states could also be adversely affected.
The third argument is that AEC aims to foster competitive laws, but due to the different domestic legislations, member states have prioritized their national interest and stability over ASEAN collective interest. As evident by the fact that there are some exemptions on economic activities. For instance, the Competition Act is not applied on all aspects for Singapore's economy.
Fourth, ASEAN members are having different levels of economic development. Since the integration of AEC would create a large market which has a high competition, countries with low ability of production and low technology might face high risk. If a country cannot produce goods to serve all the people demand or produce goods with higher costs related to other members, that country might have to import goods and become a market of other countries.
Moreover, as almost all of ASEAN agreements were based on the ASEAN Way, which states that each member cannot interfere in the internal affairs of other member states. The AEC blueprint lacks institutional mechanisms that would ensure compliance with agreements and that would facilitate the economic affairs of the region.
And because it is hard for ASEAN members to have standard system and structures, since different countries have different ways of practice. In the end, the principles of non-interference serve as the barriers of integrations. For the next part of our presentation is the opinion from the insider of ASEAN Association of Thailand to the question, is AEC a compromise, a competition among member countries in your opinion? The interview was on 30th June 2016. The opinion is, in practice, ASEAN are compromise, but in reality, it is competition, because of three following reasons.
Firstly, unlike EU, with the proportion of contribution were determined by the size of their economy, the AMS contribution are exactly the same. For example, Germany contributes with higher proportion more than Greece. However, for ASEAN, Singapore, which is the richest country among ASEAN members, contributes with the same proportion as Cambodia, which has smallest income.
Secondly, there is no strict penalties to regulate country which fail to meet commitment. Since AEC has flexible regulations, if one country failed to meet commitment within deadline, it could be postponed to the next period. Whereas in the EU, if such failure of performance occur, that country will have to receive penalty. And lastly, there is no real free flow of labor among the ASEAN member states as claimed. There are only 8 professional services that can move freely. The list are medical doctor, dentist, nurse, engineer, architect, accountant, surveyor, and tourism professional.
Created using Powtoon.